Hello and welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the Game Bet Match podcast. I'm your host, Manny Friedman, along with my co-host,
Brad Sloan.
All right, let's get right back into it. So since we met up with you guys last time, we have watched all the second round matches and the top half of the third round. So we will start by going over our bets for those matches, and then we'll go ahead and preview tonight. Which everyone probably placed their bets already, but we will talk about it anyway. And then we'll go into tomorrow's round of 16 slate. So anything you want to add to the intro?
No, man, dude, it's been crazy, man. This is what, our fifth podcast? Yeah. I'm telling you, man, we're chasing sleep at this point. We're pretty dead, so we'll see how this goes.
Yep. Yeah, but it's been a lot of fun. It's nice that we're like tracking it, and I'm very curious to see how we actually do, by the end of the tournament, right? To see if we were
for sure
or not. So
for sure, we probably should call out. We have the Twitter feed, Game Bet Match 123. I don't know what else we thank our followers. It's slowly growing, slowly getting a couple of comments on the YouTube videos. So we love our listeners. It's way more fun knowing we have somebody who listens.
Big thanks to Tidbits Tennis, who has been has reciprocated with us very much, and that back and forth discussion on Twitter is much appreciated, and we appreciate your expertise, and we listen to your pod as well. So on Matchpoint 9, and I'm a subscriber on his on your Patreon network. So it's great to have this back and forth and to have listeners. So we very much appreciate it. All right. So let's get right into it. I'm gonna share my screen here. Thanks for the feedback, by the way. We're gonna make the screen a little bit bigger, we're gonna zoom in a little bit so you can see our spreadsheet that we have here. So I'm gonna go over we're gonna break it up like we did the last time. We're gonna go over our smartest bet, our luckiest bet, our dumbest bets, and then our like the bets that we regret the most. So I would say my smartest bets, if we start up here, let's see. This was on Wednesday. It was the end of the first round because it got rain delayed. I have to say this Mannarino money line was quite a good bet. You get Mannarino at plus money. Isner has not looked good. And then I also bet Mannarino to lose the first set and win the match at plus 500. That was also a great bet, in my opinion, to get 5-1 odds. Isner is going to.
I thought that was really smart, Manny. Like in retrospect, I didn't really. I don't know if I loved it at the time, but I think in retrospect, not just because it hit, but like the reasoning made a lot of sense. Like Isner looks old.
He does. It looks like he's going to start quick, right? His arm is going to be loose. He's going to be bombing serves, right? And then as the match goes on and the rallies get, your arm gets a little sore, maybe you lose 5% on the serve. And, that's what happened, right? And you thought that the fact that it moved to the next day would favor Isner, but it was enough. Like Mannarino is just a better tennis player at this point, right?
Yeah, I was surprised. I was surprised that it went 2-2 the last two sets. I thought that the match, getting to play one less set, I thought would have been a huge benefit to Isner. But I also think there's something to be said too for just getting in a rhythm as a returner, right? Like you see that serve the 70th, 80th time, you get used to that power.
Yeah.
Right. Like, it's kind of, because like not many guys on the tour serve as big as Isner. So like it probably takes 30 or 40 serves just to get used to that pace.
Well, the second set went to a tiebreak, right? And I think it was like 10-8 or something. It was extremely close, right? So if Mannarino loses that might be a different point. But I would actually still like his chances, to be honest, to come back there.
Right? I mean, clearly, right? He went 2-2 in the third and fourth set. So if that would have been, clearly he could have potentially come back in 5. So
yeah. So that was a smart bet. If you scroll down a little bit to the Greek Sport money line and -1.5 sets against VDZ. So this is probably your not so smart bet, right?
I think it's probably my dumbest bet. I've got a few dumb ones, but that's probably my dumbest of the dumb ones.
Yeah. So you picked VDZ because you thought that the line moved too much in Greek Sport's favor. Was that your
rationale? I just thought the line. Yeah, I mean the line came almost down to a coin flip.
Yeah.
And so I think it started at like plus 160 or plus 180 for Greek's point. It came all the way down to like even money. I saw some even coming to minus 105 in places.
Yeah.
So I was like, I just thought it was way too much of a move. Like, VDC, if you take over like the past 6 months or a year, had been the better player. Granted, he doesn't look good right now. And obviously I was wrong to think that way, but that was my reasoning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, for me, this was like I didn't really care too much about the price because I knew they would kind of be even money, It was more based on eye test, right? And just Greek Sport was serving way better. He faced, I think, no break points in his first round match, and VDZ faced like 18 break points in his first round match against Ivashka. So just the serving prowess, the confidence that he came off that Pune win, it was just like, kind of screaming to me that like just bet Greek Sport here, regardless of the price you're going to win. So that was my rationale. So that was definitely a good bet for me. If you go to, I think, where was this? The Molchan over 11.5 games, I thought was a pretty smart bet. Not just because it hit, but because going into the match, I was like, Felix should win that in straight sets, but he kind of, we'll get into Felix more, but he kind of plays down to the level of the competition. So I thought it could either be 3 or 4 sets, knowing Molchan isn't that good on hard. So that over 11.5 kind of hedges against it going 4 or a tight 3 setter, right? So you can use that line to kind of bet both, right? So that was my rationale behind that bet. So granted, I probably would have hit anyway if I bet Molchan to win a set, I would have won. But if I bet Felix to win in straights, I would have lost. So that was a good bet. It hit in 2 sets. So did you hit anything in that match?
No, I stayed away entirely. I was not. Again, we'll talk more about FAA. I think he's probably a good guy to hit in certain ways from now on. But like, wow, I just thought he was a way better player than like Molchan had not been good. And I thought FAA was better, and I think but I think that was a smart bet, Manny. That was not just because it hit, but like I think it was a mistake on my part not to hit anything there.
Okay.
Like in the actual reasoning was really good.
Yeah, I liked this Wolf minus 3.5. I know we both hit that. That was probably the easiest money of the week so far, right?
Yeah, I wonder how long Diego. So we talked about before, so we're not going to go like 5-10 minutes on Diego again. But
yeah,
I wonder how long Diego's going to sit out there as just a fish to make money off of on the books. I can't imagine more than another match or 2.
Yeah. I know we were talking about this a lot this week, but where was that? The Tiafo minus 6.5 against Shang at plus 100. You were higher on Shang. I was like, this is like, Tiafoe's like twice the size of Shang, right? Like just the image of the 2 tennis players.
And serve made a huge difference in that matchup.
Right.
So I think Tiafoe hit like 20 aces to 1 or 22 to 1 or 22 to 2 or something. The difference in serve was massive, and that was the difference in the match.
Typically I stay away from spreads that big, like when you lay the games but this one I was just like, this is the end of the road for Shang. Like it's a man amongst boys.
Shang, he was 4-4 after 2 sets. Like that was not in the bag until the third when Shang really kind of fell apart. I don't know if it was more mental or physical, but yeah.
True.
Shang has some talent, no?
He does. He's 18. He definitely has talent.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. But physically, he needs to grow. His serve needs to get a lot better. Like there are holes in his game which are blatant,
Yeah, he's not Alcaraz. He's not Alcaraz. I think, but I think he definitely has talent. Give him a couple of years, he'll need to go through the challenger ranks.
Mm-hmm. What else was smart on my part? Okay, so let's go into the live betting, I guess. Yesterday the live betting the Lechka money line versus Nori. I know we both did this. We were together last night. We were watching this match together. I called it at 4-all in the first set. That's when I placed that live bet at plus 260, which is kind of where the line
started. Yeah, that's where it started. Yeah, it didn't move too much.
Right. But I was like kind of watching the match and seeing like I didn't like what I was seeing from Nori. Nori was struggling on serve, and he was just not being like Lechko was way more aggressive, right?
So I like that. I know you got that at a better price, Brad.
Well, yeah, I think I got kind of lucky, to be honest. When Lechko went down 2-1, I hit him and I got plus 310. Or plus 320, not 310, 325 actually. I thought that watching the match, man, I think you'd agree, Manny, like Lechko even through 3 sets had been the better player. He was down 2-1, but he had been the better player. And so it was just a matter of fitness and if he was gonna hang around mentally. And at plus 325, I was willing to take that risk. I probably wouldn't have if it was like plus 250. It was probably, the whole time I was looking, I mean, Manny knows, like I was looking at live bet Lechko like basically every point, but I just could never get I could never get a line and click the button in time when I got a good line. So live betting is so hard, man, because like you don't have time to think. So you have to be like, unless it's like between sets, it's like it's you have to be so quick on the draw. And then obviously like just your internet connection has to be fast enough to do that as well.
Right. Right.
But yeah, but that was probably that was one of my smartest bets. But yeah, you can keep going.
That was good. That was good. So those, I mean, as far as smart bets for me, that's probably it. I mean, there's a lot of pain as well, so we'll get into that. But anything else you want to add, like switching to your spreadsheet, Brad?
No, I mean, if you start at the bottom of round 1 there, you can go up a little bit. Oh no, yeah, keep going now.
It starts.
There you go. Yeah, you're good. That's that's it. Yeah.
Murray was first round, but you got.
Yeah, I mean, so I thought, we started in the second round there. So obviously the BDZ money line bet, that was dumb. We talked about it, and it's right up top there. I thought we talked about Shang a little bit already. I don't know. What do you think of betting Mutet versus Sarun? Like, what do you think about betting Mutet in general? Like, is that just a bad idea?
Yeah, it's just a bad idea. That goes into my dumbest bet. Like, I was all in on Mute. Like, I thought, like, he had a good run at the U.S. Open. And I was like, Cerundolo hasn't been good on hard courts, but like Mute is just not that good, right? And I think I commented on Twitter, like he wins a set and then he struts around the court like he's won 22 majors. Like he's like
right. He like
showboating and like you're not that good, And like,
he just gives away stuff for no reason, and so it's those probably aren't the kinds of guys you want to bet. But I thought, but anyways, what I was kind of going with that is like I actually think my betting. My results are still crappy. I'm still down -3 units for rounds 2 and 3 so far. So I'm still not doing well. Okay. But I'm getting closer to like, I'm thinking like my ROI is like minus, like it's down around -5% now. It's not horrendous. Maybe a little more, it's around -5%. But I think my betting has gotten smarter. Like I think I'm making better bets than I was in round 1. I think I'm learning. So anyways, where I was going with that is I have a lot of really smart bets that I made. So I thought Sonego was a really smart bet, man. You and I talked about that. Like Hurkacz just, Sonego plays to levels competition.
Yes.
So taking the games there I thought was brilliant.
I took the over there.
Tie breaks.
I took the over there, which is essentially the same thing.
Essentially the same thing. Yeah. And Sonego also, and Hurkacz also plays a ton of tie breaks. So Hurkacz is somebody who like I'm going to be looking to try to take games against. I like to take games in Hurkacz matches, like either way. If he can get like 2 or 3 games, it makes a big difference with him, especially in best of 3. I am all aboard the Lechko train now. So I hit it at -3.5 against Eubanks, which barely got there. Kind of lucky, kind of not.
You learned from the Coric debacle.
Yeah, well, I learned, right? That's the key. Always learning.
Right.
So we hit him in round 2. We hit him in round 3. We took the games against Nori, and then we again live bet him and won the money line. So that was probably the smartest player I bet on. 3 of my smartest bets were probably him. Shelton was a genius bet. I thought hitting the
that was
over
an exceptionally good bet. That was an awesome bet. I
Like,
bet the money line, but I think the over 25.5 is even better. And the fact that you hit that in 3 sets is crazy.
Well, but see, that's 2 big servers, right? That's like 2 big servers. Shelton's a power player, but he's not like. I actually like the way he moves around the court. He moves pretty well too. He's like pretty like he's not like he doesn't his shots look pretty good. But he's just a very, very aggressive player. Which means you're gonna have a lot of longer sets, right? Like especially against a guy like Yari, who's like a big serve guy. I just thought it was gonna be a lot of tight sets. I thought Shelton would get at least 1, and honestly, I thought that if Shelton got 2 sets, then I would be like good for sure. And I thought even if he got 1 set, I might be okay. So I felt really good about that one. And I felt like I just needed something over 4 sets. I got a little lucky that it went 6, 6, and 5. But I thought that was a pretty smart bet.
Agreed.
Evans laying the 2.5 sets versus Chardy. Like Chardy was terrible. And Galan was just worse in round one. You talk about Wolf Schwartzman, that's just free money. The Papirin bet I thought was genius. A, it won, but B, like Fritz is another guy who plays in this competition. So he's another guy to talk about where like, probably like you got, and he has a slams problem, man. You're right. Like I was looking at like, other than that one Wimbledon run, I don't think he's made it past around 3 or maybe around 4. Like he has not been good.
He does have a slam problem. It's true. It's true. I mean, we both picked him to make the semis, right? Before the tournament, just primarily really based on his draw, right? His draw was easy. And the draw now really opened up on that quarter. But yeah, I mean, this was a genius bet. I thought Fritz was the way better player than Popper, and I stayed away there completely. I live bet it. I actually live bet Fritz and lost that too. So like, I was and then now I've completely turned 360 on Popperin because like I was impressed with how he played that match. Like that was incredible tennis, like, and it's not just his ball striking and his serving. Like he didn't lose a point on serve in the third set, which is just
that was like Verdasco, right? That was like that. I mean, that might be one of the best sets of tennis I've ever seen somebody play. Insane. Specifically when he was serving during that set against Fritz, where he didn't lose a point the entire set on serve.
It's crazy.
And there was nothing Fritz could do. Fritz didn't play like a bad set.
No.
Like there was nothing Fritz could do. It was just like,
but honestly,
like, good night.
the most impressive part of that match about Popperin was how he recovered from losing the fourth in a tiebreak. That was exceptional.
I wholeheartedly agree, Manny. I can't agree more. Like that was his mental fortitude during that fourth set was incredible.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Or not the fourth set, during the fifth set. I thought after he lost the fourth, it'd be a problem. I was saying like he's got to get a couple holds,
Right.
And he came back and it looked like it meant nothing. The fact he lost that fourth, that was pretty incredible. So I really but we'll have to see, right? He's made this big run in Australia. We'll have to see what happens once he leaves Australia. I'm still not completely sold.
No, I'm not sold on him.
There are definitely some pretty big holes in his game. And like I said, we'll have to see what happens once he leaves Australia.
I'm confident with his match against Shelton today, which we'll get into a little later.
Yeah. I love. So then I also like honestly, like all my wins I thought were really smart bets. Like not just because they hit, because they were just like really smart bets. Mm-hmm. Boosta over. I love Boosta over like betting over the games on Boosta.
So we both hit that.
About it before, like he just finds a way to blow leads.
He does.
Like he gets the lead and he finds a way to blow it. So in this match, he had 2 sets on Banzai and he blew it. And
2
it was a little scary
too.
The third set went to a tiebreak, but like Banzai was the better player, and yeah, I don't know, like just Boosta betting the over on Boosta, like betting Boosta over on the games. I just love doing like because he always competes, he always fights hard. Like
he's often the better player.
It's never easy for him.
Yeah, it's never easy. That's true. I mean, I bet Bonzi money line. I sprinkled some on that at plus 230, I think, and I thought that was a great bet as well.
Yeah. So. And then I live bet Murray versus Kokkinakis, I thought that was just easy money. I was surprised I was able to get that at plus 115 after Coach choked away the third set.
Yeah, I guess the books don't have much confidence in Murray's fitness, especially since he played a long 5-setter with Berrettini.
I just thought the mental gap between him and Kokkinakis was so big. Like Kokkinakis, you're looking at a guy whose mental is probably an issue, and like in long matches, I would say Kokkinakis is an issue, and then Murray's just so mentally tough. Like the gap there is just massive. Yeah. I mean, we've talked about most of the rest of these.
Well, if you want to get into like this is probably your most painful bet of the last couple days, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, I mean, that's and it hurts because I had 2 bets on him. So I had him at the minus 2.5 games and the straight sets. So that was a 5.5 unit swing. So I'm down rough. 3 units over the past 3 days since our last podcast. I'd be up 2 units if I just got this match.
That's rough. That's rough.
I mean, Kokkinakis just choked it. Like, there's been a lot of positive vibes on Twitter over Murray coming back. And it's impressive, obviously, for somebody with his age with the metal hip to make the comeback, no doubt, and to hang in there mentally. But Kokkinakis choked.
Mm-hmm. I would
like he had 5-3, missed a bunch of easy forehands. The miss on set point was disgusting. Like, if he was, and I'm not saying he was fixing the match, but I'm saying if he was theoretically fixing the match, that's how you would fix it. I'm sure he didn't, because he wouldn't play 6 hours and go to 7-5 in the fifth if you were fixing. So I'm not accusing him of that in any way, shape, or form. I'm just saying, like, that particular point was it was that bad of a miss. Like, he just missed like an overhead from like a quarter of the way into the court. It was just, and he missed it like 4 feet wide. It was just horrendous.
Well, I think we both played this match perfectly, right? Because we both were high on Kokkinakis to start, right? And we thought that Murray lost his last four matches following a 5-setter, right?
Yeah, and he lost him in straights. Like he lost in straights to Taro Daniel. I think it was last year or maybe the year before. But he lost to Taro Daniel like in straights, like 4-4-4. Like his fitness is not where it used to be. And I'll be really surprised if he comes out
force the fourth against Chapo, right? So that's saying something, right? So. But I think this was a perfect live betting opportunity due to the mental gap, right? And we did take
it was perfect live betting opportunity. Yeah, I mean, I hammered that as soon as I saw it. I couldn't believe Murray was plus money. Like after set 3, I just couldn't. I mean, I couldn't. I know I had to win 2 sets. I know Kokkinakis fought hard in the 5th for sure, but I never thought Kokkinakis really had a shot.
Either I didn't really care about the score, right? Because you kind of knew that.
No, even if Murray would have went down a break, I would have just assumed Kokkinakis was going to choke again.
Well, that would be another good live betting opportunity, right?
Yeah.
If he went down a break, it probably would have been good,
Probably, yeah.
So no, that was a great bet. As far as yesterday goes,
not much. I mean, Nishioka. This is a Yoshi house, right? Yoshi Island, Yoshi house. What are we going to talk about? We just love the guy, and he always covers. He always it's great. It's like the best thing ever. All you do is just like find Yoshi, click the button next to his name, click the place bet button. And your bank account suddenly becomes bigger. It's amazing. It's like the coolest thing in gambling. Like
right. Well, I mean, Yoshi, he swallows McDonald and like spits out an egg, right?
Right. Well, he probably shits it out, but I think that's the Yoshi to shit out the egg. I think that was B Right from Super Smash Brothers was the attack to lick up to consume the opponent.
Right, exactly. So yeah, I mean, no, that's good. I'm not so confident he covers against Kachanov, but
we'll talk about it. I think that's a really interesting. I hear your thoughts on that. That's an interesting conversation. Honestly, I mean, Hurkat Shap I thought was a tricky match. That may not have been as smart of a bet. It worked, and that match went long, but I don't know, man. That looked like such a mess. But yeah. I don't know. Other than that, the Medvedev props were probably pretty. Well, I don't know if they were pretty dumb. Medvedev. I mean, Korda killed Medvedev, so I was completely wrong on that.
Well,
match.
It wasn't kill. I mean,
Korda beat him in straights. He was the better player. He beat him in straights. Right? He didn't kill him. He was the better player. He beat him in straights.
Really well though. Korda is like, I mean, he's playing awesome tennis right now. But this was actually not a bad prop at plus 600 because Medvedev had more aces and he had less doubles.
True. So it probably
that's not a bad. That's not a bad bet. He just didn't win the match, which we thought was probably the easiest part of that, right?
I thought the most aces was the given.
Yeah.
I thought the winning the match was like probably something like 4 out of 5, and then the no doubles is what I was really worried about actually, or the least doubles. So, yeah.
So I'm not very happy with you because I had Korda at plus 325 before. I was just like, you know what, let me.
And I talked you out of it.
One unit on the money line, and you were like, oh, he played. Medvedev plays well against good big servers, like this and that. And then you told me about these 2 props, and I was looking into it, and I'm like, that's enticing at those odds, right? So, and I didn't want rooting. I didn't want a conflict in rooting interest, right? So I was like, you know what, I'm going to cash out of this and place those props, but so it is what it is. I mean, I listen to you, so I'm the only one that could be blamed, right?
I was gonna say I don't know why you listen to somebody who's 0 for 26 in his last 26 parlays. That's how bad it's been. Like my single bets, I've been doing fine here, but parlays, I've been 0 for my last 26. It's been a complete disaster. Like
parlays, yeah.
And it's just been like nothing hits. You know what I mean? Like nothing hits. Like no matter what I do.
Well, in our family play parlays, we are 0-6, right? Like, and those are bets that we actually have a lot of confidence in, and we both agree on, right? So
yeah, and it's just been. But I feel like we've been close. Like I've had quite a few of those get pretty close and just not quite hit. So it's been very, very disappointing.
Right.
Other than that, I think that's the summary for me. Like I still haven't had any like crazy lucky bets. Like I've had a bunch of unlucky ones and nothing crazy lucky. Like the booster was kind of lucky. I think I had an over that got there by 1 game. I'm starting to get a little bit more of like some close bets where I've gotten like I don't even want to say lucky, but like maybe on the right side of some coin flips. But I haven't got anything where I've like a guy's pulled it out of the fire for me yet.
So, I mean, I think probably the luckiest bet for you is that Hurkat Chapo over 10.5 games. Yeah, over 10 games.
Ah, that was
That was
lucky.
very,
That's a
that
good
was
call,
very
Manny.
lucky.
That was very lucky. There were a lot of
Yeah.
breaks. Both guys I thought did not play well. So yeah,
The-
you're right on there.
So the
That's
over-under on breaks there was 4.5, and there were 13 breaks in that match. They tripled it. It's insane. It's
which is
crazy.
weird. It was just a weird match. It was just a
It
very
was.
weird match. I watched probably the first couple sets of that and I fell asleep, but
Yeah.
it was a very weird match.
It was a very, very weird match. Yeah. I mean, that's crazy. So, what else? I mean, this
Anything
also,
for you, Manny? What was your most painful bet?
well, let's get into this one actually. The Paul minus 1.5 sets. So you lost that, and that was painful for you. I hit the other way. I went with the games instead, the Paul minus 3.5, and I hit that, right? Because the third set, ADF won 7-6, and then the last two sets were 3 and 4, right? So he barely covered. So that was painful for you, but lucky for me. So
Yeah, and I think it could have gone either way. Like Paul also won the tiebreak. There was a tiebreak that there was a tiebreak where Fokina took it 7, obviously took a close tiebreak. So it could have gone either way. So it was probably, I think, I didn't feel like it was a dumb bet. I just felt like, and I didn't feel it was particularly unlucky. I felt it was like a coin flip that just didn't go my way. It wasn't as bad as Kokonakis.
Yeah. The Kokonakis was really bad. For me, like, I mean, we didn't get into my dumbest bet. I think my dumbest bet was going all kind of live betting Fushevik, with Sinner, because I actually didn't include it on the spreadsheet. I'll have to do that. But I live bet Fushevik when he won the first set.
Yeah, so that's a really interesting takeaway, Manny. So like we talk, because like this happened with a few guys, right? Like there were 3 guys in the past couple days. So RBA, Sinner, and FAA, who just sleepwalked through the first 2 sets of a match, and then like all of a sudden they like woke up and was like, oh, it's time to play tennis.
Yeah.
It's as if like I don't know what happened. Like they like, I don't know. Like I really like, I don't like, I don't understand like how they played so bad and then like just woke up and turned around like that. Like, and then the other guy just went away.
Yeah.
And I think you hit on it. Maybe it's just that much harder for these challenger guys to win 3 out of 5, like to win 3 sets versus 2 because they're not used to it. I don't know.
I mean, to me, that's more puzzling. The fact that the player that's up 2 sets, they just completely go away. I mean, the Fujovic was 1-2 in love. So the game spread in that was plus 7.5.
And Fujovic, I'm very confused by, because like he was like he's super fit, right? We've seen him with his shirt off, and he's
Jack Diesel.
Yeah, and he's had plenty of slam experience,
right?
And he's played 5 setters. So like I don't understand like how that happened where he went up 2 sets and it was just like that's it. Unless like, I don't know, maybe the intensity that they required to like, maybe the intensity he requires to beat Sinner, he just couldn't keep it up mentally. But it was,
I mean, he's certainly keeping up that intensity when he's benching in the gym. I mean, so why can't he keep it on the tennis court? I don't understand that. Like, and it's not like he lost the third 7-6 and then went away. It's like
no, but it's not just Fusovic, right? It's also Bolt did the same thing, and Molchan did the same thing.
Right. It's puzzling. It's puzzling.
Yeah.
But I think those are good live betting opportunities. But the problem is like the books actually have it on lockdown. They're pretty good at like not overreacting from a 2-set lead.
Not when there's a big gap in talent. No, not when there's a big gap in talent. If it's close in terms of talent, they'll move. But if there's a big talent gap, you're right. If there's a big talent gap, they almost don't care. Like,
yeah. So that was kind of dumb on my part. My biggest regret was not hitting Michael Moe against Zverev. Like we talked about this on the pods before. We're like, Zverev is just playing so bad now, right? And we're like fading him like to the max, right? But
yeah, and I was worried because I saw glimmers of hope in sets 4 and 5 versus Varias. I watched that match. I had the Varias money line, and I saw glimmers of hope. But clearly they were just glimmers because, like,
right.
Yeah, I mean,
he's just showing no aggression on the court. Like he has no confidence, right? And like he wasn't the most confident player even when he was 100% healthy, right? So now that he's like coming from an injury, like he has to kind of
basically start from total scratch, right? And the fact that Michael Moe is a lucky loser who we didn't like in qualifying that much, like won that
We went
match.
3
That
for
really
3 betting
shows
it.
where
We
Zverev
bet it. We
is.
went 3 for 3 in betting Mo.
Yeah, I guess our MO is losing bets with him, right?
No, Mo was winning bets. We won 3.
Oh, he's winning bets? Okay.
Yeah. He's not quite Yoshi though. Like Yoshi, you just like because like with Mo, you have to think about it. Like sometimes you have to take the over on the games. Sometimes you have to take like the sometimes you have to take like the him to lose. Like you got to think about it. It's just it takes a little effort. Yoshi, you just find the Yoshi button, click it, click the place bet, and go. So we like Yoshi a little better.
I did hit one bet with that match. It was over 34.5 games, but like I wish I sprinkled more on the money line, like that was my biggest regret from the last couple of days.
What are your takeaways from the tournament, Manny, in general? Like over the past couple of days from like a tennis perspective. I mean, one of my takeaways, I mean, I'll bring up the first one is there's been a lot of complaints about the ball.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen, I think FAA complained about the ball in his match. Nadal complained about the ball. Murray's complained about the ball. So the lack of pressure in the ball. So it's interesting because I also think watching the matches, the court's been playing, I think, a little slower than I expected. And it maybe it's not the court, it might be the ball.
Yeah, the ball, and I think it's not been that hot. Besides that one hot day on Tuesday, it hasn't been that hot. And there was rain in the middle of the week, so that slows it up, So I don't know. It's like it definitely hasn't favored big servers, right? So like yesterday, Medvedev, for example, like he won no free points on serve.
Yeah. There were very few aces in that match. I think only like 15 total aces in that match.
Even when Medvedev played Millman, which was another painful loss, by the way, hitting that under 18.5, like that first set went to 7 games
with 3 breaks. Millman broke Medvedev 3 times. I'll never understand that.
And I think Medvedev served for the match at 5-4, which was just that was an awful beat. But yeah, I mean, against Millman, Medvedev couldn't get any free points. So that shows something with the court speed, So guys need to be extremely physically fit, which is, I think, a concern for Djokovic, right? Because with that hamstring injury, like he's going to need to be 100% to be the likes of if he has to play a Holger Rune in the quarters, right?
Yeah.
So,
although ironically, I think it's a huge benefit for Djokovic that Medvedev went out. I think that's a huge benefit for him. Because I think mentally, Medvedev's one guy who believes he can beat him because Medvedev beat him several times.
I agree with that.
And then also Medvedev can he's probably the only guy who can really who can come close to out defending Novak at this point because Rafa can't. Rafa's not a real player here. So yeah, I mean I think that's a huge win for Novak. But obviously I think that the hamstring is the biggest thing there. It's all about the hammy at this point.
I actually think, I mean, I'm higher on Holger Rune than you are, but I think that could be his toughest match to the title. Honestly, especially if his hamstring is not 100% healthy. Because that match in Paris last year, like Rune can, like he has decent enough rally tolerance and he hits big from both wings, right? So I think the matchup is kind of troublesome. Like Rublev, like if Djokovic plays Rublev, like that's a cakewalk for him, right? I think if he plays Rune, that's a way tougher matchup.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Yeah,
because guys that trouble Djokovic on hard court are guys that hit big on both wings.
I think the toughest match for Djokovic in that side of the bracket now is Holger Rune.
Okay.
Because Fritz is gone. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I don't know who else it would be. Fritz is gone. Kyrgios didn't play.
The semi will be a cakewalk.
Yeah, right. You'd think. I mean, although I guess if he plays a Brooksby, that's an annoying matchup, just because of his style. But I don't think so. Like,
I mean,
yeah, I kind of have the same thought as you, man. But you're kind of giving. Yeah, I don't think so either.
So yeah,
but like I can't. I mean, yeah, I mean the semi looks like. I mean. You're right. I think it is. I think Rune's the guy with the best shot now, besides Djokovic on that side of the bracket. And then who's left on the top? Like
Probably Korda. Korda's probably the toughest out for Novak. Because Korda hits big on both wings, right?
yeah. I mean, it's the other obvious answer would be Tsitsipas.
Tsitsipas, FAA. I mean, yeah, those three guys are the biggest threat for sure. I would expect one of those three guys to be in the final.
Yeah,
But
me too.
yeah. But yeah, from a tennis perspective, it's interesting. You know, the draw has really opened up.
I mean, yeah, I think we have to talk FAA, right? So that I think
Okay.
that's a takeaway. Like, so this
Mhm.
FAA thing where he has a hard time with, players who are below him in level is really a concern. Like, so I looked at the stat. Like, he lost 8 times in the past year versus guys outside the top 50. That's a lot for a player his caliber.
Mhm.
Medvedev has 3 for comparison. Sinner has only 3 losses outside the top 50. Like, most of these top guys don't lose matches to guys that they should beat. Like those, and yeah, I think it's a real concern that FAA has this issue where he plays, him and Fritz both seem to always play to the level of their competition.
Agreed.
But
But then they'll come up against a top 10 guy and play.
Well, that's the fascinating thing. So if you look at Fritz, like he went up against or not Fritz, FAA, he's 6-8 against top 10 guys in the past year, which is a really good record.
That is a pretty good
that's not
record,
a bad record, right? Like that's why he's a top 5 guy, and like it makes sense.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's just wild that he like can't seem to do it against like would not say that he can't, but it's wild that he's lost all these matches to players ranked below him. Like, I don't get it.
I mean, from like a career standpoint, I'd rather have FAA's problem than Sinner's problem, right? Because Sinner can't be guys.
Oh, for sure. I think FAA's problem is probably more easily fixable.
Yeah.
But yeah, it still is a problem. And I think it's something that needs, I had said, I think back in the last pod, like if FAA doesn't win, and then he lost yesterday, he lost a set to Cerundolo. And that set never should have happened that way. Like it was just like.
And I don't even like, this was not a bad bet for me, but like I lost it. Cerundolo under 1.5 breaks. The only set he got broken was the second set, which he got broken twice. And the other 3 sets he got whooped, right? So if Felix keeps his concentration and doesn't dip, I win that bet at plus 100, right? So,
which is really what it's all about, right, man? It's all about making sure that the players hit your bets for you. But as a player, I think that's an issue. From a pure tennis perspective, I think that's an issue.
Yeah. But does he wake up against Lechka? I mean, I don't know. I've been waiting for him to wake up.
Why? Why would he wake up against Lechka? Lechka's not anything like. He's a good player. Lechka's a damn good player, by the way.
He is.
But he's not like specifically like the crowd's not going to know who he is. Like there's no reason to have more intensity for that Lechka match than there is for Cerundolo.
But if he gets through and then plays a Tsitsipas in the quarters, then
he'll be pumped up. And he'll probably beat him. You know what I mean? It's just wild. Like
it is, yeah. Well, from a value perspective, from a betting perspective, it's probably good if Felix doesn't wake up and gets past Lechka, right? And
he's probably a guy who I'm going to start taking the plus 2.5 sets against the guy who's playing him from like moving forward. Just hit that plus 2.5 sets for the guy who's playing him, like because Molchan had been really bad. Like I actually. And like I also wasn't impressed with losing his set to Pospisil. Like Pospisil's, he's got a big serve and he's Canadian, but I don't know. He's not like FA should beat a guy like that in straights, in my opinion.
He could have lost that match in straight sets. He lost the first 6-1, and then the second and third were 7-6.
Yeah, he actually could have. Yeah, so he just sleepwalks his way through like against opponents he should beat. That's gonna bite. It's gonna bite him when you're looking at ranking too, right? Because like. Those are killer because those tournaments are 0 points if you go out, or not 0 points, but those tournaments are like 10 or 50 points if you go out to those guys in the first couple rounds.
Right.
Like that's how Sinner's built his ranking, man. He just demolishes the guys outside the top 50 and just churns out 3rd round, 4th round, just build those points.
Right. But he can't, like, with his problem, he can't make like semis or finals, right? So, and
Oh,
that's when you
slams,
really
yeah,
make points. Yeah. Like to really make substantial points on the tour, you need deep runs, you know?
Well, you need both, right? You need deep runs, but you also can't have you can't have more than a few early exits. Both kill you, especially in big events. Like,
Right. Right.
um,
Yeah. I mean, those are definitely good takeaways.
I mean, in general, it's interesting, right? Because, like I said, FA is not the only guy with that problem. It's also like RBA did that last night or 2 nights ago, which was weird. So it's just weird. We talk about it, but it's an odd thing. Papirin is fun, man. He's a takeaway for me too. Like that, but like I said, we'll see how he does outside Australia. We talked about him, I guess, 30 minutes ago. That match versus Shelton tonight, that's popcorn tennis, man.
It is. Well, we've been having a back and forth with Tidbits Tennis on the podcast.
Yeah, we'll see, man.
On Twitter,
If Tidbits wants, we can do a side bet. If Tidbits is watching, and if Tidbits wants, anytime he wants a side bet, he's got it.
Absolutely. So yeah, I'm excited for that. I mean, I'm high on Popperin. I think that the home court actually swings that in Popperin's favor quite considerably. That match is on John Kane, where like all the drunks.
And that is the dream. That is like that's where Popperin wants to play that match, right? Yes. Like, yeah, I mean, I think that's probably the biggest. Is there a bigger home court advantage than that? And then, so this is an interesting conversation too. Like, do you think there's certain players who get? I mean, I think you'll say yes. Like, there's certain players who get more of a home court advantage because of how they act than other players, right? So, like, I think like a Cerundolo or not Cerundolo, a Papirin at home gets a way bigger bump than like Demonor at home, or like Kubler at home. You know what I mean? Like, I just think like there's a huge like with
Kubler was amped up against that against Kachanov, but I think he kind of was like not being himself. It's like kind of he's just showing the crowd something, but Popperin is actually like out there, right? Like it's
not just that, it's the reactions, but it's also like the play style, right? Like the way Popperin pops the ball, like it's fun to watch.
That's true.
And from a casual perspective, it's fun to watch, and like you can get a crowd behind you with that to amp you up, you know. Whereas like a guy like a Kubler or a Demonor who are more like, especially like a Demonor who's just like a standard, like the closest thing the ATP has to a pusher, like the crowd's not going to get that fired up, like.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. I think you hit that on the head. That crowd against Fritz, that was probably one of the louder environments that you're ever going to see on the tennis court.
Well, they kept amping each other up, right? Like the crowd would cheer, Papirin would smack the ball harder, and then the crowd would cheer louder because he smacked it harder. And it was like this really cool, like upward cycle to see. Like,
yeah.
And then Papirin would dance around and pump his chest and get all excited and scream because he just hit the ball super hard. Like it was the coolest thing to watch. Like. You have like a little like Papirin meter on the side. It would have been like at full like full adrenaline or whatever.
Yeah. No, also Shelton has, he's not that experienced, so he hasn't really seen this kind of.
This is the biggest match of his life. He probably hasn't faced a crowd like this. That's going to be. I don't think they're going to be cheering against Shelton, but they're going to be 100% on Papirin's side.
Definitely. As far as the other matches go tomorrow, so. I think we're pretty similar on these in these bets, right? We have
I think we're really similar. I mean, the only place, and I don't think we really have any disagreements. Like, so if you look at Rune Humbert, like we both agree, there's no way Humbert should be competitive in that. I can't believe that he's minus money to get a set.
And then under 37.5 games, that's a high total. Like for a match that we think goes straight sets. So I think that's
I think that goes straight. I mean, that should be smooth sailing for Holger. Like.
Yeah. It's just a better tennis player right now, right?
I just don't think Humbert's good enough to get through there.
Definitely not.
Yeah. Evans is playing right now against Rublev.
Rublev won.
He's down a set. He lost the first set 6-4.
Yeah.
But I think that's going to be a tight one.
Evans plus 5.5. Like they played in Madrid. I think that was 6-6.
They've played four or five times, and like every set has been like every time it's been close.
At least 4 games, right?
Yeah, it's like 4-4, 6-5, like, and I think it might be 2-2 or 3-2. It's a really close head to head. Like, it's a
And Evans got him in Montreal last year.
Yeah,
right.
That's gonna be a close match. That's my prediction there. Like, I don't think that's gonna be a runaway. I actually have I have Evans in 5 sets at plus 900. Not that I necessarily think he's going to win in 5 sets, but 900 was too good of odds to pass up.
I like that. I like that a lot.
It's one of my long shot bets for the day.
Okay. With the other, so let's get into this Wolf Mo match, right? So I think your betting strategy is like more risk, more reward, right?
Yeah, this one I pumped the ultimate there. I have at 135 to 1, I've got Wolf to beat Mo 6-2 or worse in each set. So like 2-2-2 or 2-1-0, something like that. I don't think it's gonna happen, obviously, but
No,
135
it's
to 1.
135 to 1, right? Yeah.
Like,
I put quarter of a unit on it. I think that's a good prop bet too.
I mean, like
That's
Mo
a-
doesn't have that much offense, right? So like
No.
if Wolf is playing good, we've seen Wolf play good with the serve and the forehand, he can
Yeah.
just hit him off the court and just blow him out.
There's a substantial talent gap there, right?
There is. Now, Mo plays better defense. He's a better athlete. Like, he's a good athlete. He plays good defense.
Yeah.
So, like, I actually think of it while we're saying all this, like, I think Mo, and actually, because Wolf also sometimes goes off the rails a little bit still, there's
Mhm.
also a chance I think that Mo could win the match outright. I wouldn't hit the money line. I don't think it's that good, but I think there's, like, for a guy who I'm suggesting hitting, like, the 2-1 in love line. But I'm also saying, like, Mo could win this match outright as well. So it's kind of a weird thing where, like, this could go like, as I'm saying, I'm not saying I'd hit the money line. I think the money line's only like plus 280 or something.
Yeah,
like,
it's not good enough for me.
Yeah, like, but if it was like plus 500 or something, I'd probably take Mo. Like, plus, you know what I mean? Like, there's a chance Wolf loses this match. I have it. My more serious bet on this is Wolf minus 2.5 sets at plus 140. But we're betting the same thing. It's just a risk reward thing.
It's just a risk reward thing, right? And you have RBA minus 2.5 sets as well, right? Against Murray.
I do, yeah, and we'll see. I haven't had a whole lot of success lately with these minus 2.5 set bets. That said, I think in this case, like, Mo is not good, right? He's a lucky loser.
No, it's yeah. I mean, that RBA Murray match, I mean, it's screaming 3-0, right? Because of Murray playing.
There's
6
no way that
hours.
Murray should be able to play. There's no way. It's just a matter of, does he have enough mental toughness to just will out a set, and the crowd will be behind him. But like, I don't think the crowd's going to bother RBA. No. I know RBA lost the first disc the whole 2 nights ago, but he doesn't really go, like, he doesn't have really mental issues usually. Like,
yeah, I just respect Murray's mental toughness so much that I took RBA to win 3-1 at plus 290. I just think
I don't think it's terrible either. Like, I think it's one or the other. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think I don't think Murray has any chance. I couldn't believe it was only like a plus 250 money line for Murray. Like, I just don't see, like, so again, we talked about before, like, he had never done this. He had never won a set before. I don't even ever gotten to 5 games in a set before with the metal hip after coming off of a 5-setter. And he wouldn't have won a set against Kokkinakis even, except Kokkinakis choked. And Kokkinakis is, like, let's be honest, he's a fun guy. He's a big hitter, but he's not that good of a player. He's got massive holes.
Right.
So, I mean, RBA is miles above Kokkinakis.
Mm-hmm. I
agree
with that.
And RBA is going to make Murray work. And I just don't like Murray, if Murray's fitness isn't there, he has no chance.
Agreed there. It's more like a pure respect. Like, I'm also kind of rooting for him to win a set. I mean, I know it's not good to bet with your heart. It's better to bet with your head, but like, it's Andy Murray. He's probably a top 10 player of all time. I don't know. I'm just, I saw plus 290 there and I'm like, that's good enough where I'm going to hit it, So, and I think there are positive signs here that Murray, like the day after that match that finished at 4 a.m., like he was at the site by like 1 p.m. practicing.
Yeah, but I also wonder on the flip side of that too, this hasn't gotten talked up very much, and I don't know if it's a real thing or not. But like, Murray hasn't, like, that really messes with your mind, man. When you're playing a tennis match at 4 a.m., like, so he played at 4 a.m. He's got to go cool down, do his media stuff, shower, get back to, like, when did he get to bed? Like, it had to be after dawn. It had to be like 7, 8 a.m.
Yeah. It's the time we're getting to bed watching these matches.
Right, but like, it's much easier to watch these matches than play them, right? Like, I think most people could probably watch a tennis match. I don't think a whole lot of people go out there and compete with Roberto Bautista Agut on a tennis court.
Right. No, I mean, you're right. I mean, it's screaming that. It's just like my pure respect for Murray is giving him that one set, right? So that's That's my rationale. I know the going to the Paul Brooksby match, we kind of disagree here, right? We talked about it.
I don't know if we disagree. I just think like, so I'm a little worried because Paul crushed Brooksby the last time they played. It was like 3-2.
But Brooksby was in a bad run of form at that point, right?
I know Brooksby's gotten a lot better, but Brooksby, because he's such a weird style, he's someone that I look at head to head more than like anyone else. Because like players play like different against Brooksby than they do against other guys. He's such a weird style matchup. And so the what I ended up doing, and man, we talked about this, like I just took the under here, and I didn't.
I
touch
love the under too. I like Brooksby money line at plus 120, but I think
I'd rather have that than Paul minus 150. Like this is never Paul at minus 150. Brooksby's playing a lot better this last week or so.
Yeah.
But it's never Paul. It's maybe Brooksby, but I'm staying away from the money line and just sticking with the
So I think Paul is a better tennis player, but I think there's actually a pretty decent mental gap here. I think Brooksby is stronger mentally than Paul.
I agree with that statement.
So
I just don't know if it matters. Like, it's also weird because like everybody plays so differently against Brooksby. Like I don't know how to hit this match other than the under. And the only reason I like the under here is because this is going to be a break fest. Like there's probably going to be 10 plus breaks of serve here.
I checked. I think it was 9.5 was the break.
Yeah, and I think I would hit the over on that. Like I foresee 10. I mean, it depends on how many sets it goes, but if they play 4 sets, I foresee at least 10 breaks.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, transitioning to that, like for me, so Bet 365 they offer break props on every match, and like to me, I think it's my favorite bet to place other than like the normal, game spread, set spread money line, because like it accounts for a lot of variables in a tennis match. It accounts for court speed. It accounts for serving prowess, returning prowess. It accounts.
You're loving that word prowess tonight, Manny.
Huh?
You're loving that word prowess.
It's the only word I can think of at this time, being like having only 3 hours of sleep every day. But it also takes into account mental toughness, how opportunistic a player is. So there are very few bets which kind of take all these things into account. And that's why I like it so much. Do you like it? Like what?
Yeah, I mean, I love hitting break props from there. Yeah, I love hitting break props. I mean, I agree. I'm 100% behind that. I think it's I probably love hitting break props more than actual like matches.
Yeah, break props are fantastic. I think it's a great bet. And I hit a parlay yesterday. So right here, it was great. So yeah. What else
what other matches are out there
today that we didn't
Djokovic, I stayed away completely from Djokovic Dimitrov. I just think like the question there is like, what is Djokovic's hamstring like? And I just don't I don't know, right? I'm not in Djokovic's camp. I don't have any information on Djokovic's hamstring, so I'm just going to stay away entirely.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that the gap between these two guys are so big that doesn't really matter. Just in terms of ball striking, Djokovic is so much better. And probably Djokovic at 75-80% is equal to Dimitrov in the movement department, right? And not necessarily like Dimitrov moves exceptionally well, but it's being able to hit aggressive balls on the full stretch, right?
And all that's fine. I just don't know. Like he lost it to Enzo, and granted it was 7-6, but Djokovic just lost it to Enzo. Like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I
like that hamstring really might not be right, and if it's not, like
6.5 is not that many games. It's one break in each set.
If the hamstring's not right, that could be a 5 set. You know what I mean? Like I don't know how bad the hamstring is. Like I agree with you. I think all your reasoning makes sense. I'm staying away because I don't like betting on injured guys. I think that's a trend for me. I don't like betting on guys who are injured. I just don't. It's a variable that I assume the book knows more than me, because I assume the book somebody at the book knows somebody in their camp to get information that I don't know.
But to me, like a Djokovic injury doesn't mean much to me. Like it's so much like part of it for me thinks like he's trying to take pressure off of himself by saying that this hamstring is so bad. Like he's still out there competing, running like a gazelle, you know. I don't know. It doesn't tell me much, to be honest. Like if it was someone else, anyone else, even Nadal, right? Who is the king of taking pressure off himself, but he doesn't really downplay injuries too much. But anyone else, really, I'd be like, stay away. Don't trust it. Djokovic, different story.
It's also Dimitrov is another stay away guy, right? Because he's a guy who like sometimes wakes up and happens to play well. So that's just like for me, it's the ultimate stay away match. Like there's just no way. Like, and I mean, I will look at that. There are a lot of props up for that match. There's like I think there's great props up for that match. It's such a big match. Like I might look to hit something there. I haven't looked at it yet. A lot of times those props all come out kind of late. But I may look to hit a prop there, but that'll be it.
I hit the Dimitrov under 2.5 breaks at.
I don't think it's terrible. I mean, like
-130.
Djokovic is one of the best servers on the tour now. It's incredible how his serve got so much better. We've talked about it before, but
yeah, he's so good at backing it up.
Bonsai, but last matches that we haven't talked about yet is Bonsai. Benjamin Bonsai against De Minaur. I like this as a pure over. I think you and I are fully in agreement here, Manny. Like this is to me, this screams me De Minaur in 4 or 5. Like De Minaur should win this. He should be like, but I don't think Bonsai's good enough to play 3 good sets to beat him. He is, but I don't think he does the majority of the time. But I also don't think De Minaur destroys him. Like I think there's going to be, I don't know. I think this is Bonsai in 4, Bonsai or not. This is De Minaur in 4 or De Minaur in 5, in my opinion.
Yeah, I took a stab at Bonzi money line at plus 330.
That is a big line. That's a big line against Bonsai. Bonsai's playing well.
He is playing well. And, you know, De Minaur doesn't have too many weapons. It's going to be hard for him to hit through this court with, you know, the slow.
Oh, he won't be able to. It's not like this is going to be, it's Bonzi's match to win or lose. It's just like he's going to have to make a lot of balls, and Bonzi is not traditionally known for that.
Plus, he gets tight in key moments as well. Not as tight as Carreño Busta, but he does get.
PCB versus Bonzi. That was the ultimate. Somebody's going to get tight match.
Right. So yeah, I mean, it's yesterday was a better day in terms of names, but I think like today has a lot of like interesting storylines, and it has like guys with open draws with a lot of pressure, right, to make a deep run.
Well, that bottom quarter is really interesting, right? Because there's so many guys like for Paul and Brooksby, this is like a really important tournament now all of a sudden.
Right.
RBA's made runs before, right? So I don't think for RBA, I don't think it changes his career that much to make another semi. Like, obviously he wants to make a semi as an opportunity, but like I don't think it changes his career all that much. But I think for specifically Wolf and Brooks, or not Wolf, for the Americans actually, Wolf, because Wolf is in that section too, right? So for Wolf, I think, yeah. So for the guys in that section, it's just a huge opportunity.
It is. Well, I mean, like, so if we. Oh, so you can't right now, since the bottom half matches are being played, you can't bet on the quarter winners, but
yeah, well, I looked at the line. I didn't bet it because there's always so much juice in those lines. But like RBA was the favorite at 3-1.
Yeah.
Brooksby and Paul were in like the 4 to like everybody, all the like Brooksby, Wolf, and Paul were all between like 4-1 and 6-1. I didn't like any of them because they still have to win 3 matches to win that quarter. And like RBA is probably one of the best shot, but 3-1's not that amazing. Like he's still
not that amazing.
Again, he still has to win 3 matches, you know.
Has to win 3 matches, and he doesn't have like the firepower right.
But he should beat Murray.
So
he should beat Murray. You know, I mean, I do remember there was a podcast where somebody said that RBA was going to make the quarters. Do you remember? Like there was a podcast where somebody said that RBA was going to make the quarters.
Was that you? I think you're the only one in the universe who actually thought
that. Remember, that's our quarters competition.
I know,
so
and now that
live.
Well, so now it's really Holger Rune versus
RBA. Who do we like?
RBA, right?
Yeah,
because Tiafoe is out. I had him to make the quarters in the first, like to play Medvedev in the first quarter, and then I think what was the other bet? Oh, you had Kyrgios, right? And I had Holger Rune, but Kyrgios didn't even.
Yeah, I had Kyrgios, and I had Nadal, and you had Tiafoe, and you had who else did you have?
I had Berrettini.
Oh, you had Berrettini, right? Yeah. So, yeah.
So it's really Holger Rune versus
RBA. And it's interesting because
interesting.
RBA is not the better player by far, but he has the way better draw. Like,
Well, Rune has a
like
pretty
his draw. I mean,
He
he's gonna play. He gets to play, injured old Murray. There's no way he should lose that match tonight. And then he's gonna play the winner of Paul and Brooksby, which is that's a legitimately tough match. I think that's probably close to a coin flip.
Yeah, and then for me, it's
I wouldn't be surprised if RBA's a dog
but
against
Rune
those
is
guys.
he has an easy match today. There's no way he should lose to Umber, right? And then he would play probably Rublev.
But then he's got Rublev, and that's a tough one.
That is
Like Rublev's a tougher match than Brooksby or Tommy Paul, right?
agreed. But Rune is also better than RBA.
Right. I'm not saying I'm the favorite to win the bet. I'm saying that I think it's close because you have the better player, but I get the better matchups.
Fair. Although Brooksby plays RBA pretty tough. They played a tight 3-setter in Miami last year. I was actually at that match, and it was brutal.
I'm not saying it's gonna be easy for RBA.
Yeah.
I'm saying that if I'm RBA, like as a fan, I'd rather see RBA play Brooksby or Tommy Paul than Rublev, or even
True.
True. There's a gap there. Like
True.
There's a reason. I know you hate Rublev, Manny, but there's a reason he's ranked fifth. He's ranked in the top 10 in the world.
I know. I mean, I did bet him against Rustabori. I'm starting to kind of understand who he's good against and who he's not. Like before, I would just hammer the underdog against Rublev, but I'm being a little bit more selective now. So, yeah. All right, let's quickly go over tomorrow's matches. There are only 4 of them, but I think they're all quite interesting. So we should hit on all of them.
Yeah, so who's first up on the docket? First up is
Nishioka.
Yoshi and Kachanov.
Yeah.
The line here is Yoshi at +4. Oh no, it's gone up. Yoshi +4.5 now. So what do you think here, Manny?
So I like 2 bets here. I like Nishioka Kachanov under 39.5. Because I do think that there are going to be breaks. I don't see too many tiebreak sets or long sets here. I could easily see a 6-2 set. Like Nishioka is really good, but he does have a tendency for meltdowns. Right?
Yeah, and I think, I mean,
so although they did play in DC last year and that was 6-6, so I mean that you can kind of go against my my point, but it's best of 5, so I tend there's some more mental lapses here. So and 39.5 is a lot for 2 guys that don't serve particularly big. I mean, Kachanov has a pretty big serve, but I'd still see Nishioka having some break opportunities. Right, so that's just a big total. Anything that is near 40 is pretty tight. I also like Kachanov 3-1 at +290. Because I can see Nishioka win a set. So that's kind of where I'm leaning. I mean, I still have to study a little bit more, but where were you leaning?
Yeah, I mean, I think this may end up being a stay away for me because I think I think the pure lines, the spread line, I think of Nishioka, I said before, Nishioka. So here's what's challenging, I think, here is I actually think, I think this is a bad matchup for Yoshi because Kachanov can hit big and he can flatten the ball out more. We saw even McDonald, healthy McDonald in the first set gave Nishioka some trouble. And I would say McDonald is not nearly as good of a player as Kachanov is. I mean, we went to a tiebreak, right? It was a close set. So I see that being a challenge for Yoshi. But again, Yoshi, the whole thing with Yoshi, you just find his name, click the button, watch your account get bigger. So but that might not be the case here. So
Kachanov looked good against Tiafoe.
He did. And he plays well in slams, right? He just made the semis of the last year of the US Open.
He
You know,
prefers the best of 5 than the best of 3. Like he needs time to kind of get his teeth into a match, right?
yeah. Well, yeah, I think he's just a very like I think he's just like a really intense. Like he has a pretty good intensity throughout the match. Like his level stays pretty high throughout the match. I think.
Right.
Um.
Yeah, he doesn't dip
So,
too much.
but he does kind of give away sets sometimes. To your point, like he plays a lot of. So I guess I don't know, but I don't know. It's hard to explain.
Maybe
Like
he's turned the
but
corner.
it doesn't
Though.
feel like his intensity goes down. It feels like he just like misses shots. I don't know.
He had more bad losses in the past, but maybe he's turned a corner with that semi run at the Open. I don't know. I mean, yesterday that was a great win for him. Like we were both on the Tiafoe money line, and
Yeah, I was
Tiafoe played
surprised.
him even in
thought,
that fourth set, which Tiafoe should have won because he had 5-set points. Like Khachanov outplayed him. He had more break opportunities leading up to the tiebreak.
Yeah. So
right.
I don't know, man. I think this is. I'll have to research it more. I may end up hitting something. The 1.5 set spread line on Khachanov is sitting at
-110 or something.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think it's -1. Yeah, no, now it's moved up. It's -145.
Oof.
So I don't really love that either. So like, I don't know, man. This may end up being a stay away. This looks really well set.
Mm-hmm.
How
about
what's the next matchup?
Lechka and FAA?
Oh, so I love Lechka here, man. The line's moved up here. Lechka's getting 5.5 games now. I think that's insane. Like FAA has problems against like this line is completely forgetting about like FAA has problems against like against lower competition.
I may have to hit that too. I mean, the way I want, what I liked was the FAA to win the match, but both players to win a set, and I would get that at +120. That's what I liked because I still think FAA gets through it. I know you were more confident in Lechka.
I actually really like the Lechka money line here. It's +300. I think Lechka is a very live dog here.
For me, I see what you're saying, but I would look to live bet that more than place it before the match because I don't know what FAA is going to show up.
But if that FAA shows up the first set, you're never getting that. You're never getting that +300.
But you would still get it at plus money, right?
Yeah, but if I think Lechka could win, I want the +300, right?
You're right. You're right.
Like I think this is like I'm probably gonna hit a few different Lechka lines here. I'm probably gonna hit the money line. I might hit this like half a unit on the money line and half a unit on the spread on the game spread. I don't know. I'm probably gonna mix a bunch of stuff around here. Okay. I mean, heck, like Lechka. I mean, yeah, Lechka plus a set and a half is +145. Like, there's a lot of really interesting Lechka bets here. I think I'll probably go. I'll sprinkle a little on the game spread and a little on the money line. Probably go half a unit on each. But I really like Lechka in this matchup.
You're just being a degenerate and trying to make up for your Coric losses.
No, man, I'm on the Lechka train. I'm now 2-0 with many units won on Lechka in the past two rounds. So I'm now all aboard the Lechka train, man. I went from being all off the Lechka train to now all on the Lechka train. Now, honestly, we're just seeing him play hardcore. Like my question with him was just how could he play hardcore because he played mostly clay, but clearly he can make that transition. So I am now all aboard the Lechka train. I think he's like, I have him as like close to a top 25 player. I think I'd probably consider him a favorite if he played like an Evans or an RBA or like a lot of these guys.
Mm-hmm.
So,
okay.
Again, I don't think he's going to beat FAA, but I think it's better than a 25% chance. So I am all aboard the Lechka train.
Okay. Fair. How about what's the next match? Tsitsipas Sinner. Popcorn.
I need to research this one quite a bit more. What burns in my head is Tsitsipas just ripping Sinner 3-4-2 last year.
And he has a good head-to-head. I think it's like 4-1. Is that right?
It is. I think it's 4-1. Yeah. But the most meaningful one is the one last year, just the destruction in 3 sets. I'm really surprised that the spread here is only Tsitsipas -3. Or at least that's the spread I had seen last. I feel like it should be higher. And I probably need to research that immediately now before that line moves. Because I'm a little worried that line's going to run away from there. It's already gone to 3.5.
The books are usually pretty high on Sinner, despite his crappy record against top 10 players.
Yeah.
I think I would hit the Tsitsipas -1.5 as well. Sets.
Well, minus 3.5 games and minus 1.5 sets, I think is close to even money.
The games is pretty good too. I mean,
yeah, I like. Yeah, I mean, that's what I have to decide. I kind of decide which Tsitsipas line I like. Yeah, because minus 1.5 is minus 110.
Tsitsipas is playing well. He ended the season very well. That tight 3-setter.
Tsitsipas, yeah, he's in. I think, and you know, Sinner just sleepwalked through 2 sets against Vucevic.
I know.
If he sleepwalks through 2 sets against Tsitsipas, he's not winning the match.
No, he's not winning a set. Because Tsitsipas, the one thing about him is like we make fun of him for the holes and all that. He keeps his intensity up, and his intent is up throughout a 4 or 5 hour match. And
he
that's why
he does.
And that's the reason why he is top 5 and makes.
Well, also he's a great attacker too. Great forehand, great attacking player. Like he does actually do great overhead, great net game. Like he actually does a lot of things well. Like we make fun of him because he has holes, but he does a lot of things pretty well. He's just got some holes. I agree. But I see he's playing with his brother there.
He is.
The Dubs. So maybe he'll be tired from that. Maybe I'm going Sinner now because it's supposed to be worn out from playing doubles with his brother. Like more from like the yelling at each other, right? Like I kind of want to watch that. I want to see like how much they yell at each other. Like what kind of relationship do they have more than anything else? So I feel like the Tsitsipas family would be that'd be an interesting place to eat dinner at the Tsitsipas house.
It would have some like falafels with him.
Oh, dude, have some spanakopita?
Yes.
Great. I love spanakopita, man. Great stuff.
I love Greek food in general. Greek food is really
good. Yeah, dude, some Kalamata olives, some feta cheese.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like that Greeks just kill it with food, man. Like
I mean, too bad they allow coaching now, because if they didn't, that we could bet the over on Tsitsipas coaching violations.
Right? I know.
I mean, too bad. But all right.
We can still build the argument on like verbal arguments though with his dad, which is a pretty fun one. Like what is it, like over 1.5, like over under 1.5?
I smashed the over. Smash the over there. Last match of the day. Let's go with the Korda Hurkacz.
I need to research this one. I don't really like, but this is actually really tough. I still don't know how to bet Korda because like we have this new rise, right? Like we have this like he beat Medvedev. He played Djokovic super tight. So like, is he a top 5 guy, or is this just a small sample?
He looks so good, man, against Medvedev. I mean, and Medvedev.
Obviously, I didn't see it. Right, I fell asleep. I think I saw like 2 games or something. Like it was not. You know,
I was watching that first set. The way he kept his composure there. I mean, he was up 4-1, I think, and 5-2, and got broken back twice. Medvedev forced a tiebreak. I think Korda had a mini break in the first set, like three different times. Medvedev got back to 6-all, and Korda kept his composure and won that set to proceed to win the second pretty easily and then pretty convincingly win the third in a tiebreak. But he was amazing. Like his composure was incredible. I mean, ball striking is amazing. He's playing top 5 tennis right now. He really is. So
I mean, so then the line is a joke, right? Because the line is like the line has it's a close match. The betting line is, I think Korda's giving 3 or something now, and that's going up. When I saw it before, I think it was Korda was giving 2. No, it's still 2. Korda's giving 2.
I'm hammering.
That's a joke. And although, you know, honestly, in Hurkacz matches, I really like taking games because he just plays so many close matches. Like 2 for Hurkacz matches, like 4 for anybody else.
No, you're right. You're right. And Hurkacz does have a good serve, but the thing is, when the rallies start, he plays passively, and he's going to get eaten alive by Korda if he continues with that strategy.
Yeah. I mean, right. Like this feels like Korda -2 is the play all day.
Yeah.
But it's like almost kind of scary. And I think there are some watchouts. Like, you know, again, like Hurkacz doesn't have the big serve.
Big serve, but the conditions are slow and these balls are fluffing up, which is advantage Korda.
Yeah, but he's
and Hurkacz was broken by Shapovalov so many times.
Right? Korda's also coming off the biggest win of his career.
I think he's just riding a high. He's just striking the ball so well now. I don't think that that's really a factor. Also, his demeanor doesn't signal to me. Like if it was, for example, Tiafo coming up a big win, or like someone who gets so emotional and so up, right, from a win like that, like I think there's more chances of a letdown. Korda is just cool, calm, and collected. I don't think that matters.
Yeah, I don't know. Like everything, I agree with you. Everything screams to me to hit Korda, but I got to do a little more research because I'm a little.
Do you think it's a trap line?
Might be. It just feels too low, right? Like it feels like the book wants you to take Korda, doesn't it?
It does, but I don't.
It feels like this line should be at least 4 or 5. Like Korda's just playing like Hurkacz, like Shapovalov. I mean, Shapovalov, that match was not that great. That Hurkacz Shapovalov match, or at least the parts that even I watched,
the quality wasn't. No.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I've been thinking about this match a lot, and I looked at that line, and like I'm thinking about all the different variables, and I don't see anything that's swaying my opinion that could signify that it being a trap line. I like Korda all the way here, and I'm probably gonna parlay Hurkacz Tsitsipas money lines.
You mean Korda Tsitsipas
Yeah,
money lines?
Korda Tsitsipas, yeah. Right.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Like Korda's only a -1. Like I don't understand. Like, it doesn't make like, yeah, I don't know. Like this makes no sense to me. These lines, but that's why it's scary. It feels like a trap line. I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I'll have to see how Korda does against big servers. That's my only concerns. How does he play against big servers?
Do you consider Medvedev a big server? He broke him plenty times.
Yes and no, but like I don't think Medvedev is like so. Like Hurkacz is like in the top 5 on the tour in terms of like holding serve. I don't think Medvedev is. Like Medvedev is a big serve, but he's like because he's not like a traditional like big hitter behind. Like his +1, Medvedev's +1 isn't that good.
Right. That's what he needs to improve, because I mean he's out of the top 10 now, and there's people are certainly adjusting to his game, right?
Oh, I think it's a real thing too. So that's probably what we can end off on, is going back to like just a good takeaway on the tour. Like I agree with you. I think people are adjusting to Medvedev. Like he didn't tail off, but like people are starting to beat him now. You know, like he's and his game is weird, and I think people are starting to figure him out a little bit.
Yeah,
I agree. I think that's a
I mean, I do think
that brings me back, but again, like he's been really good. So I don't know.
Yeah. No, great win from Korda for sure.
His only loss is that Djokovic loss, right?
What was that?
His only loss is that Djokovic loss?
Yep. In the final.
No, he has had some like weird. Yeah.
So. Yeah. So the last thing is futures. So like to win outright, Djokovic is now +105 from. It's interesting because he started the tournament.
The hamstring. I'm staying completely away from that. Because like now it's a better bet. But that hammy is just I just don't know. Like
interesting though. Holger Rune is the 3rd favorite at +600 to win the title. That's
who's
crazy.
second? Tsitsipas?
Yep.
I mean, I guess it makes sense, right? Like Holger Rune's the like FAA, like I'm actually so what is FAA now?
+1100.
Yeah.
He just hasn't shown anything, so it's hard to.
But he was like, I don't understand why he went down. I guess because of all the other top guys going out. But like now he's gotten through the hard part of the tournament for him, ironically, right? Like now it actually gets like he usually shows up for these top guys, but it still is going to be tough. Like
it is, and he has a tough draw, right? Because Lechka's no gimme, and then he has to play Tsitsipas probably, and then he has to play probably Korda to play a Djokovic. Like that. That's not easy.
Yeah. Yeah. So. How are the American men, man? How many American men are left? Did all the Americans win last night? Is it still 8?
No, Tiafo lost.
Duh.
I mean, most Americans are in this section, right? Like in that 4th quarter.
In this awful section that somebody has to advance through. This, like, yeah. That we called before the tournament, by the way. Again, like somebody called the 24th seed to make it to the quarterfinal. So it clearly wasn't that strong of a section.
But can you pump the brakes with that? Like, relax, all right?
When he does it, I guess I have to wait until he actually does it to celebrate it. Also, have some major egg on my face.
Don't get cocky before it actually happens. All right.
See, I'm allowed to because I'm not actually playing the tennis.
All right, that's fair. But this RBA thing. I mean, what am I going to hear it for the rest of the year?
Hey, if he makes the quarters, you will. You better hope he loses
He's
tonight.
got to win 3 more matches. So
2 more matches.
2 more. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and one of them's Murray. He kills Murray tonight, so he just has to beat Paul or Brooklyn, which will be tough. That's gonna be a close match.
Okay,
but it's looking good.
All right. Well, the matches are starting. I know it's not really starting off well because Rublev is up a set and a break right now, so that's not the best. But we have a lot of other bets coming up, so it's an exciting night of tennis ahead. Hope everyone is enjoying the tournament.
Update there: Rublev broke again. He's up. He won the first. He's up 6-4, 6-2.
Wow.
So bad times for Evans. Evans is a long way to come back. Rune is also up a break against Hugo already. 3-2.
Okay. Good start. Good start there. Any other matches, men's matches underway? Or
no, not right now. I mean, they'll only have a couple at a time. There's only 8 for the night. So
yeah. I mean, if anyone that wants to get some sleep, it's probably advisable to get some sleep now and then wake up at 3 a.m., right? Because 3 a.m., I think there's Popyrin, Shelton, Djokovic, Dimitrov, and I think there's one more actually at that time.
Yeah.
Murray and RBA. So 3 good matches at 3 a.m. So
yeah.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Well, thanks again for tuning in.
Yep. Again, keep hitting the Twitter. We'll keep posting our bets there and talking on there at Game Bet Match 1, 2, 3.
And thanks for all the support as always.
Yep. All right. Thanks, everyone.
All right. See ya.